Rodd Duff, your host.
And I'm producer Barbie.
And together,
we bring you our podcast,
Insights and Straight Talk. And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.
Well, that was a good indicator of the show today, wasn't it? I'm moving the studio around a little bit here. Excuse me. There is so much going on. You know what? I don't know why I keep screwing with this, because in about a week, the studio is going to be in a different place. So, different part of the country. I think that looks pretty good. I just moved everything at a dang, man. Something's last couple of days. I've just had this incredible freaking coughing thing going on. So, hi. I'm here for a specific, well, a bunch of reasons. If you guys read the, that is distracting. That looks pretty cool. It looks like it's pretty much out of the way. Move it a little forward. Just kind of hanging out with you guys while people are starting to make their way in, I believe. So today's coffee and tea time is, I kind of like this a lot better. I've got to move the lighting around a little bit more, but I think we're kind of now that we finally dialed in the lighting, I think. Let's see what this does. We're going to move the studio, so really none of this matters. Yeah, that's too bright, huh? That's kind of a cool shadow effect, though. Watch this. Let's do this. Let's bring it over to... no. All right. So today's topic, like I said, coffee and tea time, of course. We're going to talk about AI, how that's coming along. We're going to talk about sponsorships. And the reason I'm bringing it up, I'm not going through another begging session, I promise you. But we're being contacted. I've had several emails coming in now that are saying, hey, we watch your show, or I watch your show. Really interested in the discussion with the great middle class and what that's about. We'd like to collaborate with you. And I'd like to open up, discussion and say, hey, let's get together and and can you send me some information of what your sponsorship programs look like? So I mean, I'm a salesman, so I get the whole and love and enjoy. See, now that's a little too dark, isn't it? I've moved kind of the lights back a little bit. Let me know if that looks okay to you guys. But anyway, I understand and love the concept of sales, marketing and sales, and that's what businesses require to, start up, grow, and then continue on. You've got to get that word out before the whole Perel shampoo example can go to work, and double and so on and so on. And, more and more people are getting to, wow, hey, everybody jumping in. Appreciate you being here. We're just getting to talk about some of the things we're doing right now. We're going to talk a little bit about where the AI class and community is going. We've started to talk about some pre-registration stuff. I've been holding off on it because we're starting to get a lot of sponsorship requests from companies, companies. A financial company reached out. They're talking to their board about some things. A food company, which was the first one out of nowhere. I didn't respond to it because I wasn't thinking about what that would be, because you get a lot of junk stuff too. But anyway, I looked at it and I went, oh wow, okay. So she requested some information, got that out. A molding machine company I work with, We've been talking about that. Now another person just today, really cool company, perfectly aligned for what we're doing. He listens to the show. He says regularly, loves our message, and loves, who we're talking to. The middle folks of America, man. I mean, this is where the business people, leaders, what would you call entrepreneurs? This is where the teachers and the first responders and the people working at the Starbucks and the people working in their different jobs, being that backbone of America, the great middle class, the working class, whatever you want to call it, by extension, the world, is the whole reason, any of these societies, governments exist. So it's been a very, it's hard to even take a breath sometimes. And I'm in the middle of a move, so we'll talk about that. We're moving everything. Like I was just saying, now that I've got the lights I'm kind of really excited. It's taken me months every day just fiddling around with it. But I kind of like where I've done here. And now within the next few days, I'm going to pack it all up. Talking to packers, I'm saving every penny I can on this move because I don't want to run out of money before I get there. Now, wouldn't that be ironic? I bought a house, and I've been working on this program. Ironic, maybe not the right word. But I've been driving back and forth, eating up funds, paying for some cars and expenses and rent and, the office space. And anyway, so to be able to pull this bit of money, have an awesome opportunity, my own first very own home. In other words, I bought lots of homes, but family and that, it's a little different. It's a feeling. It's an expression of something different, and really it's a landing spot. Producer Barbie and I talked about this when we made this decision, this financial decision. She actually came up and said, look, this is what you're spending, blah, 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 blah. Really starting to dwindle down. I broke into I cleaned out my 401k, which was all part of this plan. I'm a risk taker. And so the only thing left is my retirement. What's that called? When you get old, and Social Security. That's all that's left. And the longer I can wait on that, obviously the better. But all of that circles around to now people are starting to really come to us. I mean, I did some initial just trying to figure out how I'm going to present these ideas to be able, because I mean, nothing greed here at all, nothing to do with greed, but you got to keep the lights on, and you got to keep yourself fed, right? I mean, just basic stuff. You guys that know me, you folks, everybody that knows me knows I'm a pretty, I'm not I'm personality flamboyant, but I mean, the clothes that I have on, this is from when my youngest son, the youngest boy I raised, Matt, when he was in, he was just going into high school when he joined this team called GoPro. I think there's a name on it. Yeah. Anyway, all these clothes you see me wear, short of every once in a while, Producer Barbie has sent me in the mail going, okay, come on. She bought me a pair of tennis shoes and some underwear of that, just because I just take that I don't know. I'm very comfortable within just chilling. I mean, I come from a suit and tie world. So, and all my suits are 5-10 years old. They've gone up 50 pounds and now back down 35 pounds. And they've traveled the distance with me. I've got a lot of really cool shoes. So I mean, as far as all that goes, I'm kind of sad. I'll treat myself to a Longhorn steak every once in a while or something. But all I want to do is be able to survive. And now, this journey that I'm on, you always hear about the energy and so forth of what you're doing and how those things come. I'll get to your guys' comments in a second. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Lanrick, thank you. Hi, how you doing, my friend? Good to have you here, guys. This is a family, this is a community, and we're all on this mission. It's really it's a wave. It's this thing that's building where people are finally able to say it's okay to talk to each other and maybe even have a little bit of disagreement about points and just talk about them. And maybe I can go to my family's Thanksgiving Day dinner and no longer be excommunicated from that type of event because of some argument that was had. I believe that this platform, all these platforms, but I'm partial to this one. I think it's the best one out there, honestly. I mean, and that's, I'm biased, absolutely, but you know what? I think we offer something here that people fall short of, because what this is about is getting the topics, the needs, okay, let me finish this, and then I want to jump on to an idea I have. It's just totally off the wall from what we're talking about, but totally, I think, the answer to the great middle class. So all those topics we go through, and people are really understanding the importance of the message. We have hundreds. I mean, we have 100 people right now, over 100, and it's because it's important, not what I do, but what is being done. And I happen to be able to throw my 2 cents in the way that I throw it in, which I think is kind of fun. And I think these are some of the things that other, especially mainstream media, that's like, hi, I'm going to scratch the surface for a minute and a half on this subject. Then we go to commercial break for 4 minutes. Then we come back and spit something out or talk about, oh God, what all these, when they talk about golf tournaments and this and that, I don't care about the personal lives. I mean, I do, but I don't know. There's not very much news going on. There's not very much advice going on mainstream mainstream media. It's I don't know. I mean, if I'm wrong, please, you guys this is an open discussion, folks. Chat. Let's chat. If you think I'm wrong there or off base, please, let's chat about it. But it's so refreshing to be able to be here and get this going and moving with this family of ours. So my idea. Okay, so we've been talking about, hold on, I just want to see what this other one is here real quick. How do you think AI will shape parenting in the next decade? Okay, here we go. So my dear friend, Lanik, you've hit on something I'm actually going to be talking about here in a second. And it does have something to do with AI. A new way of doing things, and everything is going to be about AI coming up. I'm really happy to wake up and see you live. Jason, thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. And good morning. Where's your coffee or tea? I got mine over there. And my trusty Coke Zero and my trusty water. Fluids flow, baby. Fluids flow. So I'm here talking about AI. I'm talking about the update of the Arkansas. Sorry, folks. My new neighbors in Oklahoma. I don't know why I keep saying Arkansas every now and then. That's a beautiful state too, by the way. I was considering that because it wraps down around Texas and I could get to Brand, but it's actually where I am north of them is closer than where I could get in Arkansas because I saw this really cool place. There's some really neat property, you get down in there. And so I bought a place and was able to save money month to month to extend our ability to stay alive. Even though I spent money, I don't no longer have expenses. I was able, this house is going to take some work. I'm going to build onto it, maybe to make it a forever home. Right now, it's a landing spot very close to my grandkids. If you guys saw on Saturday's show, which by the way is going to be re-released here shortly. As a matter of fact, I have to approve it, and I didn't have time before the show. But that's the one where my little granddaughter was sitting here and laying on my shoulder, and we were talking while the camera was on the table. My son was cooking breakfast and shipping off some products that he sells. He does a show called Be Money. Several different revenue streams, and very fascinating thing. And he and I have done a couple shows together on here, especially when we get into the AI discussions. I mean, he's just a little bit hair shy of 40 here, so he's dialed into all that, just like everybody is from that age down, pretty much. So I was doing that particular show, and I've been thinking a lot about how we talk about emboldening and empowering and engaging and bringing together and making more of a powerful bulk versus individual opinions or shouting matches. And I've been thinking a lot about how, and this is a really bold idea, of course. And it's something that old tradition could have never allotted for, but the way the school systems are under the new administration and maybe continuing on, I don't know, but there's a different way that we need to evolve our government and all of the things that sit beneath its purview. It's like the school is not a government, it's technically a private thing. There is a school, there's an and it's kind of so tied into the government it is, which is actually illegal in our system, if you look it up. But it's changing now. So hear me out. I've been really, so it's the reason I think, this could work, because it's going to take some setup money, serious, and none of us want to spend money. But this is a direct payback to the people directly. This is from the pocketbook, invested back into the pocketbook with fold over plus. So here's my thinking. School systems changing. We have $17.5 trillion or so that we spend every year as a country. And now with Doge, assuming that really continues, there's all sorts of weird shit happening right now with that, talk around that and all that. But let's say we save, these trillions of dollars or hundreds of billions of dollars, let's say. And that would continue on, obviously, and probably become more, because you're not bulking it up anymore. You're streamlining it. Now, here's the interesting thing. If we pull those two things together, meaning allocation of funds towards education, and the changing environment that allows the school structure to I'm going to use the word be improved, emboldened to go to that next level. If you've been on this show long, they're starting to clock up here, but we're good. There's 4 or 5 more, 3 or 4 more questions. So hang tight, folks. I'm really leaning into this, and I want to talk about the AI, but I want to talk this, and I want to talk about the sponsorships. We're being asked on a regular basis now, our sponsorship information. So pretty soon you're going to be hearing me talk about, our friends because we need to continue to build that revenue stream so that we can stay alive. I won't go through that whole story again. I mean, not stay alive. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not like there's anything negative happening, but there is funds going out to be able to promote and do what we do, as well as pay the lights and so forth. So that's all I mean by stay alive, right? And by the way, we have a new program coming up. I'm talking to one of my granddaughters, an older one than the one I was talking to and co-hosted by out in Texas. Emma, as you know, is 16. She's kind of becoming a little bit, working her way through the little influencer world. And so I'll get back to my other one, but this is another thing that I got really excited about. It's so amazing. So many things are just popping, man, as far as what we can do to help that next generation. Hang on, Jason, I'm coming, I swear. But what do you guys think of this as a show? So we have Insights and Straight Talk with me, your host, Rodd Duff, producer Barbie. We're rebranding. We're doing all sorts of things because we're kind of going to that next level. And so we've got that, and then we've got the AI community, and that's kind of where the coffee and tea time started, and will be focused directly moving forward. It's just I'm stealing some of the time now because there's so much going on, and I don't want to create all these crazy things. But so I've started to talk to Emma about Insights and Straight Talk with Emma Lynn, and Grandpa Rodd. And that would be an open talk, talking about, what kids deal with, and, and fashion. And I mean, her and I talk a lot. We've traveled together. And again, I've earned, and thank God she's who she is, that I have in her mind earned the relationship we have, because it wasn't built over a whole history, right? There was me involved in that, my moments, my time. Awesome growing up. Kind of after the kids were grown, kind of went squirrely. I mean, I had a lot of fun with the boys growing up. That was I had more fun than they did, I think. We used to go paintballing, the football games, teams. So video gaming, oh my God, we'd be in each in our own room, and not War of the Worlds. I can't remember the big one, the where you're in the army, and you're the first really cool, and it's still around. It's big. I just can't think of the name. We used to do all that stuff. I taught him to drive. When I say that, I mean, like, we'd go to Angel Stadium, like with Brandon, we went to Angel Stadium, and this is well before he ever started to drive. But we just kick back, or we go off-roading, and they would drive, and under my purview, and nowhere where anybody could get hurt except for us. But yeah, we did a lot of cool things, and they raised very cool families. And in that transition, because of multiple people that are in that family, I was a little more surprised when I started to kind of come back, how easy it was. I mean, it wasn't like I disappeared, but I look back, and I was definitely deficit as a older dad into a younger granddad. That timing, and that's a history thing. So we don't dive anymore. So that thing I think is pretty cool. I'd like to really develop that channel, just like I'm working with the VA. I'm gonna have to put that on pause because I haven't heard back from them, which is kind of strange. But also I'm moving, so the VA down there is where, and it's really cool because it's smaller towns, and it's a different vibe in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is, I mean, literally when I went to there was a different energy. I mean, I'm not going to get all weird, more than I typically am. But there's also this different attitude about where we are, what we are and all that. And I don't know that much at all. That's why I'm moving there, because this is about the great middle class. And, I've lived all over. I haven't lived down in here, and always interested in talk and listen and, all those things. But to live there not Texas. Texas is, that's a very familiar feel for me. Just over the border, it gets to be a different feel, because you're going a little further into that northern South, right? Or however you want to call that. But I mean, to me, there's a great difference between, say, Texas, which is a great difference from Illinois, obviously. Great difference from Texas. Then let's just start Oklahoma, Arkansas, and that even different still from them, but Tennessee, West Virginia, and then you get into the Carolinas. There's so many different, we're all the same. That's why we're the United States, right? Because there's a melting pot, always has been. That's why we love immigration. We love legal immigration. This is no longer a handout to the world, just like Europe's waking up to the same thing. This is not an invasion opportunity. I mean, it has been, and still can't just be safe right now, right? Not a big deal. Let's not get too far into that. So back to my story of where the educational system, the savings of very serious dollars to set up a school system that includes. So to me, there's a lot of people who could be in a better, let's put all the taxes and the government strife and stress and over taxing and all that aside, because that's all true. And that will also, if this whole that's a weird coloring there. It is a little light. I think I got too much orangish. I look like Orange Man, who's no longer Orange Man. But anyway, the educational system teaches. Actually, who knows right now? So I know you can add programs. Some of those that are there now are discussing and being rooted out, hopefully sooner than later, and permanently, because that's no business for an educational system. But if you go back to what I said a second ago, in that I'm way over here. See, I scooted over, and now I'm trying to go back to my old spot, and I keep doing that. So is there any way, do I have any? So this is just the one, it's not as fun when you don't have a guest. You can't screw around with the cameras and stuff. But so if you have a system that there's a building, let's say, so you have classroom 102, so you have all these classrooms. Depending on if you're a warm weather school, they're all scattered around with nice little grassy walks, or if you're in a winter area, it's a big, huge enclosed building with hallways. So same concept. You have your classes, go first period, second period, third period, fourth, on and on. Then there needs to be a period, tell me what you guys think, because there needs to be a period where it's not counseling, but it's counseling, because I believe everybody has different, they talk about redistribution of wealth. Here's how you do it without doing it. This is the right way to do redistribution of wealth. Tired of listening to those stupid ass politicians with their stupid ass and corrupt and or stupid ass and or stupid ass ideas. We hire these people to go in there, and they're terrible at what they do. Their only job is to make our life better, to make the government run in a way that's efficient, and while doing that makes our life better. None of that shit happens, and it's not what they actually want to have happen. So we need to get control over this, right? So in this system, nobody should be where they are economically. There should be no stress financially in the great middle class. Boomer, stay out of here. Dog's one in the studio. None. There shouldn't be. And that sounds whatever, poppycock, or unattainable, or this or that. It's not. And you know what? Our founders created this country, and yeah, we live here. So yeah, we're the one that are driving the rest of the world. And it's because of our innovation. It's because of the freedom we have. And yes, there are freedoms in other parts of the world, but none of them are based on the fact that is right now only a loophole because we don't use it. But it should be the centerpiece of every day that we walk out the door, which is of the people, for the people, and by the people, period. That's enough of the politics side. The AI can make all this really smooth and informationally and design of program and so forth. Because here's what we need to do. We need to, in those classes, teach them math, teach them science, teach them history, teach them, economics, the things that are in the school system that are actually useful, that stay there. And then they have, they have the recess break, this and that. Maybe they have a library time, however the school systems work, but there needs to be like a counseling time. And when I say counseling, I'm not talking about safe space shit, or any of that stuff. I'm talking about, okay, as an individual, you're meeting, and it has to be manned. It has to be effective. It can't be one person and 500 students clawing all over them. And because here's the thing, it's going to be kooky in the beginning, especially not it's got to be thought out, so it's not kooky that way. But this is a different thing. This is about coming in and figuring out that kid and thus adults, the whole thing. I mean, but let's just stay in the school system right now, because you have to do the adults, because even if you do this while they're kids, it's like one of our guests the other day said they expanded to be not X-rated. I think it was said plus 18 years and older as well, because if you fix the kids but you don't fix the adults are going to screw up the kids, and they should. I mean, they're the parents. Your environment at home had better be certainly as solid as anywhere else, and not. And if not, way more solid. So great strategy there. So, but let's just talk about the kids right now, because it's an easy thing, I think, to picture. Each period you have, or school day, or however the schedule works, you have a class that you go in, and I don't know, maybe it's one every three. It's got to be a smaller thing, right? So there's got to be investment in this, and you could take counselors, but you got to make sure they're the right counselors, because if you're cutting out some of this other crap, and as things evolve, sociologists and so forth, those things are kind of, and to be honest with you, I've met with a number of them, and they're not always, just because you're educated doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. But here's where we need to, all of that negativity and all that funneling down of what I just said comes to this point. In that period, and it may take years to go through, but it should be part of the school curriculum, and to develop and learn how you have no issues, have no, are healed from past. Why aren't everybody successful? There's reasons for it. You don't know that you can be. The access isn't there, but the only reason it isn't there is because you don't know where it is. Wait a minute. Because you don't know where it is. You've got real insecurities that come from childhood drama, or just part of your family's personality, whatever. And on and on and on. And then there's education levels that that need to be placed and or matched to still drive that journey forward for you, not stuck back here. And then picking up additional tools along the way. Hear me out here. So as you go through this, and there's study. This is just something that needs to get in a hand. I'd really like to start a mission on this, and what you're doing is you're every citizen of the, and then by extension the world, but this is for us to then get expert at and take it to the world. We can't just give shit out all the time like we do now. Well, not now, but like we were doing. We can't. I mean, okay, I'm a dick, but I'm a dick. I just see where too much becomes unmanageable, too unmanageable, and corrupt, and then you've got corruption and everything else. Don't know what that would be, but here's the thing. Let's get back on it. Through your educational system, you are trained. You're being taught, and honestly, I think it improves all this too over time. So you're being trained. First of all, you're being understood, learned about, and no matter what, your records go wherever you go, and whoever in the next, every school, every whatever it is, needs to be staffed with good, solid people. And then needs to have AI to be able to do analyzation and reports, to be able to talk. And that file builds. And I'm telling you right now, by the time anybody wherever they start, first of all, grades are going to skyrocket. Inventions and the way of the world is going to pass AI and then now be comfortable in it. There's so much ingenuity, and the mind is an amazing thing. And what we are doing now in our educational and every other system is we are teaching people to be workers. And you know what? That's all perfect. But what about if we just don't change people, but make the best of it? The Army is be all you can be, right? To make the most of them and in that educational system, because then what that does is makes better adults, better Americans, better leaders in the future, better workers in the future, better caretakers, caregivers, first responders. It just adds a polish, or it adds color in between the layers. That's an idea that I hope there's some comments on it here. Families moving more towards rural life. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Lynn, I'm with you. I'm jumping on you guys here. We're okay on questions. I'm going to probably wrap a little early today, but I actually none of that I was intending to talk to, but I really want to hear your guys' input. I always talk about a watch party, which I think is already a thing. Somebody told me later, but that's important. You have maybe community watch parties that are tied in with the school system. Well, that was a weird flash. That are tied in maybe the school system. That could be that connecting rod. But let's not get too complicated. What do you guys think about? Well, it's not complicated. None of this is complicated. There's government officials that should be being told, being heard, being listened to, being informed of, being communicated with. That may end up falling in my lap, but hey guys, folks, let's talk about this. Let's push this, because one of the things in my book which started this whole thing, one of the big chapters is the school system. I as you know, I've always thought more of the European system than the American system. Not that either one are perfect, but they kind of do this in Europe in that they're testing you along the way and kind of steering you in towards, that channel of life. And of course, there's corrections along the way if need be. But this is that next level. I mean, literally, you have somebody assigned to you that, like you do a counselor, but usually I don't think people ever talk to their counselors until they're ready to graduate high school, or very rare, even if then. This is a little bit more than a counselor. Well, first of all, sure, there's a counselor in there, of course. So if you have something you want to just talk about, there's that. But that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, how do we design your life to be perfect for you as you grow up? That's what this is. And that's through tests. And I'm not an educational person, but it doesn't seem that hard to think what would put that system perfectly together. So let's do that. Let's jump in on this, man. Comments. Let's get a little aggressive on this, because I think I'm going to use that. I think I told you about where I'm talking to my older granddaughter, Emmeline, about the show that I want to do called Insights and Straight Talk with Emmeline and Grandpa Rodd. And I want to kind of blend that into there because, fashion girls, she's a budding influencer. She's kind of getting her feet wet. She's just turned 16, sweet 16. That was a celebration. That was a really good time. So anyway, I'm kind of talking to her about some things. I've known for a long time. This is kind of you can see personalities, and you can see, look at, I'm doing this again. What the hell? You can see when, oh, I know what it is. I bet you this is bugging me and I keep scooting away from it. Okay. All right. Well, this wasn't a great layout, but I'm enjoying it. It's much more spread out, which is kind of cool. I was getting kind of cramped. You can see in Emma, like you can see in people, you can see a little extra spark when they talk about or this or that. And when they're doing this, there's a little different. And if you're curious, then you understand exactly what I'm talking about. When you notice something and you go, right now, she hasn't grown up that way, and she's just growing up, and I could be totally wrong in 2 months, 2 days, 2 years, 20 years. But I don't think I am, because there's this vein in our family tree, our DNA, that has, my dad, my grandfather actually had one, sort of. There was a whole family thing there that I've mentioned before, that my dad, but he always wanted a gentleman's farm. We got close in Fallbrook with some really cool stuff, which I won't get into. I've always wanted a farm. That's a big reason I'm moving to Oklahoma. Yeah, I said it right that time. God, I'm so scared of saying the wrong state. And Austin has a farm, and Brandon's putting one together, kind of has one, but that's what kind of pushed me forward, because he's been, hey, I'm building some property out here. I'd love you to bring your show down and see the girls, and so I while he was doing that, I said, fuck it. I said, okay, Brian, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have a place that's a little bit away, spend let's say a week there. Then a place that's like, we're talking less than a mile. I think I think it was a few miles away. And then it's got this like an apartment kind of thing. All of his inventory, if you looked at Saturday, you saw a little tiny piece of it, but it's, it's starting to get a little obnoxious in the garage. Start a home-based business. You know what happens when it really. He's been doing this a long time, but not this kind of product lines. Several product lines. So it's kind of evolving his business from just digital, which is very easy to store, to something that, so now that's to the next level. Congratulations to my firstborn, the eldest son, so to speak. Sorry, Austin, I'm just giving you crap. He's now looking at that, and he's already a real estate investor. He does all that stuff. He's into all. He's a big property dude. So he's going to do that. Put this little thing on a little studio. Then I could stay there for, let's say, a week every month, and be like over at hanging out with Maddie, or going and stealing her and bringing her over with me, and hanging out over there, which is the latter one's better. I got to play with Maddie. I got to hang out with Maddie. I know they've always been scared of me because this is their first baby, and I get it. Being a male, what I mean, not me as a person, but yeah. So I reached that next level where I spent time alone, and just I was responsible for a bit. I took her around the house, took her around the outside. Brandon was watching us on the cameras. he took some cool pictures. Yeah, so that was like, okay, that's my life coming up. And then I'll get another little junker kind of step thing, close enough to Austin, unless I lure him out here with this house. So there's some really cool things happening. We're rebranding everything, meaning not rebranding, but we're upgrading the logos and doing some other things that go along with the sponsoring program. And we've introduced that. I've just kind of been testing what's the right thing to do, but I haven't even started, and all of a sudden people are reaching out to us and saying, hey, we'd like to send me the information, the numbers and so forth on the sponsoring. My email is jr@imstri.com. That's imstri.com. And if you've got anybody who wants or needs, or, we've got several different things. It's very inexpensive, just trying to keep the lights on. And we've got these different channels that makes sense because we have a very widespread. I was looking at our audience the other day. Yeah, it's so fun because when I had the machinery business, which I wound down, like, I think the last contract I canceled was like 6 months ago. And then we were winding down for the year and a half before that. And then I started that rollover last September. I started that's where it became a problem, where I had to put a date down because it was really hard to run both companies. And especially because I wanted to be here like all the time. So finally we pulled that cord, or that plug, however you want to say it. And now we're doing this full time, which the ultimate goal is to get to my grandkids. So I'm 2/3. Well, I guess that'd be halfway there, because different locations. So anyway, yeah. So things are moving along really good. The sponsorships are coming along. Guests are asking to be on every day, and the word's getting around. Thank you guys for that. That's all about you. You guys are talking to each other. Tell your friends. Subscribe. Like this video if you could. Let me have a drink here. But anybody who'd like to get their message out, we have a logo company coming up, a food company, a financial company, and so yeah, if you're going through a bad time, I'm going to throw something in here just because it makes sense right now. If you're going through a bad time, if you have mental illness, if you have some really bad thoughts, or even not so bad that could turn bad. You know, find somebody, find something. I was fortunate, very fortunate to have somebody in my life at that time that, and you all know her, that I can't say 100% because of this. Because I've thought about it a lot in my life. You know, when I was younger, I actually thought about it. I thought, man, but what would I miss? That kept me alive for a while. You know, I mean, I'm talking teenage years. You know, I've been battling with some stuff for a long time. And the only reason is because I didn't do anything about it. I just lived it, you know, like a lot of people do. That's why it's good to have help. You know, it's good to have somebody that'll see behind the mask. You know, you guys all know I live behind a mask a great deal of my life because of many, many, many reasons. And, you know, I've said before, maybe I should have started this off doing this earlier because I would have been a much happier person. But as I think about it too, I wouldn't have all these experiences to chat with you guys about. I mean, we talk about a lot of cool things, but if you ever have an issue, first of all, contact us. You know my email, jr@imstri.com. I have people that literally the other day, slightly different topic, but I literally, as I was in my car, I was actually getting ready to leave at night to go see my granddaughter in Texas last weekend when I did that show and bought the house. But I was sitting there and I was sitting in the driver's seat. The car was running. The dogs were there. I hadn't got them yet. I got everything all set. And then I put my feet outside the door, the driver's door open. Just picture this. And I'm sitting there like this because I was looking on my phone for the address to put into the GPS. And I see out of the corner of my eye this dog come up, and then this guy, right? I could then tell we're kind of a guy, and I looked up and, oh, hey, dude, how you doing? Really nice guy. We've gotten to know each other a little bit. We've worked out a couple of times together. He's a much younger, stronger dude than I. So we work out next to each other, I guess is a better way to put it. But, you know, it's always nice to have somebody that pushes you a little bit, makes you do a little more. But anyway, he walked up and he was just kind of, he had this different look. It wasn't a bad look. It wasn't a great look. It was almost a thoughtful look. It was a thoughtful look. He had this kind of this thoughtful expression in his eye, and we caught eyes. Hey, dude, and I shook his hand, and I didn't get up. He leaned over because I was petting the dog. I love their dog. Oh my God, it's so cute. Big dog, pit bull, awesome coloring. My God, friendliest dog in the world. Well, besides my dogs. But he hesitated and he said, I just got back from an AA meeting. I said, oh, no kidding. Good for you. He goes, my second one. I go, ever? He goes, yeah. So I was getting ready to go. And at that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm not leaving. And give me a second. That was the first time somebody ever stopped and just wanted to, oh my God, that hit me all of a sudden. Just wanted to share with me because they know I know. You know, I've never been a sponsor, and, you know, I never thought I'd ever want to be one. Till that night. Wow, what a way to end the show, huh? It's actually a great day. Let me get to these questions. I'm going to, yeah, man, I just messed myself up, guys. Woo! And that dude, thank you. You affected me. You changed my life. Again. Oh, God, that was harsh. So, I'm back. Hi, friend. Thank you. We talked. That's been up there for an hour now. How do you think AI will shape parenting in the next decade? So that's where I got off on my story. I think what's going to happen is I think AI is going to shape parenting, but we won't know that. I mean, AI is integrated into our world. Not at this point, but you say the next decade, Landrick, the next decade is going to be a completely different world than where we are now. And it's very exciting. It's a good thing. Thank you for this question so I can recover here. God dang, man. That was a really special moment, though. I got to tell you guys, that was, if you've ever had kind of a pleasant surprise that came out, that was a human experience. And this was a guy, he's 30s. He talked about, I said, what made you want to go? Just wants to be a better guy. You know, he's got all this ability and this intelligence, good looking guy in shape, you know, and yeah, I know. And I'm sure a lot of you know. When he said that, I just, okay, this is going to be an awesome conversation. And we did. We had an awesome conversation right there. Just hung out, probably, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes, real low key, couple questions. So what do you think about this? What are you doing there? You know, where are you on the steps? You know, he's only a couple days in, and, you know, have you found a sponsor kind of thing? And the thing is right away, I told him, because I got that vibe, and I would have. As a matter of fact, I'm tempted to ask him to move. I don't got any room, buddy, but we could sleep in beds on the opposite side of the same bedroom or something. But I was almost tempted to say, "Hey, come on, man, I'll be your sponsor, but you got to live. You know, the dogs got to be buddies." So, yeah, what a life this show, because of you guys and the guests, is preparing for me. Parenting is going to be a whole nother thing. And I'd really like to lean into, Landrick, what I was talking about, you know, as we go through and into this new world, while AI is going to be affecting everything. And I think AI can really assist this. I would like to see this idea, this mission, this movement of having a counselor 3.0, working with each kid. So let's head on to Jason here. I'm really happy to wake up and see you live. Thank you, Jason, buddy. It's good to see you here, man. Always got that big old smile. You're big old happy dude. It's great to have you here. Make sure and tell all your friends. Let's keep moving, man. Let's just keep. You can tell I'm a little tired today too. I've got all my power done in Oklahoma. That's on. No, it's not on, but it's ready to be on. I've canceled all of it here in the apartment. Just on. I'm meeting with another set of movers tomorrow or tonight, where we're going to look at some things. I'm going to do basically this myself, but there's certain things, I'm not unfit, but, I'm getting older, moving, a king size bedroom, or, a king bed, and, moving some other stuff. Plus these things here need to be packed in a way that this is the life. This is how I talk to you guys. Talk to you with inequality. Otherwise, it's a laptop. So no matter what, the show will go on. But I appreciate that, Jason. Thank you very much. Jason, again, how can we bridge the gap between race and respect in small towns? Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And you know what? I think everything, Jason, is going to be tilted a little bit towards this program that I'm talking about, because there's so much that could come together if people truly understand themselves better. And in small towns, you're even more isolated, meaning that's probably thoughts that have come up through generations. And so there's not a lot of influence from the outside. Now with social media, that's going to get better. And I think that's going to be a bit of a bridge there, Jason, in those relationships and so forth. I personally, every day, this morning, I walked into a Walmart because I was getting something. I forget what it was, but I was walking in there and I just started chatting with everybody, and it's a whole different mix of different kind of people, different, races, religions, all sorts of, it's the heart of middle America, the great middle class. So what was funny, and sometimes something happens that usually it's, oh, hi, how you doing? And, oh, hi, have a great day. Somebody gets a little lift. I get a little lift. Today on the way out. So I was talking, and I think this lady heard me kind of talking to people on the way out. And we came to the, where the sliding doors are. We came to the exit where the sliding glass doors are. About the same time, I was like a couple steps ahead of her, and I see her, and I step aside, and I stick my foot out, and I go, "Let me open the door for you." And she starts laughing, and she goes, "Well, thank you very much, sir. That's very kind of you." And I said, and then she walked through it as I did while I was walking behind her. And I said, and I got to tell you, it was very, very difficult. I had to do a little extra workout. I've been practicing that all day. And she goes, "Well, you keep it up." She turns around, stuck out her hand, and we shook hands. And she said, "You keep that up, young man." She was probably in her, I don't know, early 30s or something, but just, that kind of thing. And that was a neat little fun moment. That's how we bridge that. And the town I'm going, you say small town, the town I'm going into is actually the big brother in the county of towns. It's the big boy. And actually it's really nice. It's actually really nice. I'm surprised at how well it's like, it's newer buildings, the downtown, the city hall, they're not huge, but they're really, really nice looking. I haven't been inside yet, but I drove through the town, and now it may be +1. So as far as I know, the town has a population of 5,500 and now whatever that number is, 5,500 people. I'm moving to a town of 5,500 people. The nearest town away is south of me towards Texas, 27 minutes south of me. And so there's all the, there's a lot of land in the country, guys. Now, I don't know what people own. Yeah, a lot of it's farms, I'm sure, too. But I have always traveled this country and really enjoyed it. And so I'm getting that next experience. Okay, a couple more here. We're starting to drop off. I got some stuff to do. I really appreciate you guys being here. I snuck all the way over here again. And I got to fix that. Here we go. This, Lynn, thank you very much. Drinking tea and watching live. Really happy. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then we're going to go with, did you see the middle class families moving more towards the rural life? I think it's even more than that, but yes, to a degree. And all of that's about cost of living. And my God, the cost of living there, the real estate taxes I'm paying are going to be like a few $100 a year. The taxes. Yeah. You don't have to live where we live. There needs to be some work. And now with technology, you can live anywhere you want, just like me, because this is Insights in Straight Talk, and I, as your host, can do this from over there, or I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here, and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.